together, and this meeting is being live streamed. Let me change my view, speaker view. Actually, I like gallery view, but I'll leave speaker. All right, it looks like I am live on Facebook. Well, hello, Cultural Legacy Builders. We are in for a treat. Today is day 4 of the Cultural Legacy Builder Challenge. This is a 5-day challenge. And if you're just coming in today, there are 3 days behind me, which you can easily catch up. And if you do, if you would do me a favor and put in the chat #replay. Many of you are watching on the replays. I see. I'd love to see you make a little note to say that. I really appreciate that. So I want to give you a recap of where we started, where we are, and some prizes that I've given out thus far. And I will be giving out another special prize today. And I did not announce the winner for yesterday, so I will do that as well. So each day you get an opportunity to win a prize. And today I'm actually giving a grand prize away. The grand prize will be my offer. So after I talk about the lesson for today, I want to go into what I'm offering you for you to go a little deeper into this topic for yourself to create, to build, to grow, to have that blueprint from the 3-step process that I've created from my own life experience, something that will accelerate you so you don't have to repeat the same mistakes I did. I think it's always great to learn from a mentor who has not only had success, but has also had failure. I just finished a Toastmaster meeting today, and one of the speeches talked about who likes failure, who likes defeat. You know, it started in that context, and then he switched it and said, you only grow through your adversity. You only grow, you only develop muscle if you work it out. So just as you work out your muscles, you're going to work out your mental capacity, right? You're going to grow and strengthen and all those elements. And I want you to learn from my life experiences because I've had almost 30 years in this industry, and I'd love to be able to help you to move it a little faster. So administrative announcements. There are 3 things that started out in this challenge. The first one is, I said it's free, right? Free 5 days. That remains the same. This challenge will stay up. These videos will stay up until Sunday at midnight. Then the videos go away. So watch as much as you can. Take notes. I hope you do. I hope you learn something that you didn't know before. And if you want to know something and you want to ask me a question, put it in the chat or send me a message and I'll be happy to expound on it. So that is the first thing, is it's free. Yes, consume, consume, consume. Every day. Every day I'm coming live at 3:30. I may change that on Saturday. I haven't quite decided, but likely I'll leave it at the same time just for continuity. And then on Sunday, it goes away. The second thing I offered you is a playbook. A playbook is, again, an experience that I've not only went through myself, but through some research about losing things and gaining things and protecting, when I say things, assets, losing assets, gaining assets, protecting assets, all of that's in the playbook. Then the third thing I offered you is a VIP session. The VIP session for this particular challenge is running Friday and Saturday after the challenge time. So if you want to participate in a VIP, that's an opportunity for you to go further with me, ask questions on, it can be questions on the framework that I've provided. It could be questions on going online, delivering a message through a challenge. It could be any of those areas you can ask. So it's pretty much Ask Kathy. Like, I think there used to be Dear Abby. So this is kind of like Dear Kathy, where you ask me questions. That's what the VIP session is for. Again, that's this Friday and this Saturday after the challenge time. If you want to participate in that, I do need to know because there is a separate link I'll send you. You can either send me a direct message on Messenger or you can post it in the chat, in the feed. Either way works for me. So those are the three things. And then today, which is day 4, you actually get the fourth thing, which is my offer. But before I go into that, I want to expound a bit on culture. What is this thing that you've put out in front of us called cultural legacy builder? So I've heard about legacy. I've heard about building. Remember, I talked about the foundation on day 1, talked about the walls or the frame on day 2. And yesterday on day 3, I talked about the roof, which is protection. So today, day 4, we're going to go inside the house and we're going to talk about culture. Now, you may say, how is culture inside the house? Well, culture is something that's inside of you. I know we tend to look at culture from an exterior standpoint, such as ethnicity, things like that, religion. You might look at culture like that. But when I'm talking about culture, I'm talking about where do you come from? That's what I'm talking about. Where do you come from? So when we go inside the house that we are building, there are many facets, just like a diamond. There's many facets. One is plumbing, right? You need to have adequate water, potable water, as we say in real estate. You need to have electrical, unless you want to build your house out in the sticks and be off grid, or maybe you want to have solar panels. You may choose something different. You may decide instead of, let's see, water, plumbing, sewage. I've actually went on appointments to show people property on off-grid homes, and I've seen 2 homes that actually had, I call them outhouses, but they weren't even outhouses. They were inside. They had this pit where they just went and used the bathroom and they dumped it from time to time. Interesting. So you may decide you don't want to have a regular sewer or septic tank. And that's just an analogy of what's inside of culture. Not to say any culture is like sewage. I am just giving an analogy of different things, different facets that are inside of a house, right? So when I think of culture, I think of what my ancestors have taught me, because my parents have taught me based on what they've learned, and their parents taught them based on what they've learned. So when you think about culture, where you come from and what your religion, what your customs, what your traditions are, that's what I'm thinking of. That's what I mean by culture. What are you bringing forth from what you had behind? I just had another message today from someone in my family. I think I mentioned to you that I'm starting a family reunion for my mother's family. And part of the planning process for that included creating a Facebook group. I created a private Facebook group and I invited relatives that are on my mother's side of the family. I received a message this morning, or maybe it was last night, from one. I think I mentioned that one of the family members had an ancestry DNA link that he wanted to share with me. And it actually goes back to the 1800s. And this particular person owned property, this family member owned property. And it talked about his, basically like not an obituary, but a journal, a chronicle of his highlights and his successes. It also had some of his things that maybe he could have done better in preparing to leave that legacy for his family. And that's what I want to teach you, to be able to capture all of what you have. We talked on day 1 of capturing those assets, writing those down. We talked about on day 2 where you have those different revenue streams. I have a mentor, Joel Block, who calls it revenue octopus. And I was actually listening to a scripture today, and it said that you should have at least 7, preferably 8 streams of income. And I found that fascinating that I was listening to that And I heard that actually from mentors before. So these words, these truths about creating this legacy, about generating wealth, because ultimately this is this is wealth creation. This is wealth generation that you're doing. When we look at culture, when I look at culture, when you look at culture, think through the lens of what have I learned? What have I brought forth? Now, there are some of you, including myself, that may think of some things that you've learned from your parents or your grandparents that you don't want to repeat. I have a daughter that does not believe in corporal punishment, spanking. Okay. Have one that does not believe in that. Actually, I'd say they probably all don't think it's a wise thing to do. Whereas I was raised with that, spare the rod, spoil the child. And I have that same sort of mentality or mindset or culture that I've brought forth. What are some of the things that you've learned through your parents or your parents' parents, if you have that sort of institutional memory on the things that you were taught that you want to bring forth, that you want to pass on to the next generation? And maybe hopefully those are valuable things that you want to bring forward to the next generation. And the things that you don't want to bring forward, such as I mentioned, my daughter, one of them in particular, does not believe in corporal punishment. She doesn't believe in spanking. In fact, many of you may not even believe in it. So it's just part of the culture that I was raised with, that I've passed on. What are some things that you recall from your parents or your parents' parents? If you recall your grandparents, what are some of the things that they have taught you? I'll share a short story on the culture that was in my family. We always took trips to visit our relatives. When I say relatives, I mean my grandparents. So I'm from Wisconsin. That's where I was born and raised. My parents are from Mississippi. My mother and father were born in Mississippi. One is Kosciuszko, one is Salis. And every summer we would take a trip to Mississippi, driving. We didn't fly, drove to Mississippi. So that was our pilgrimage every year. And that was part of the culture I was raised with. And when we would go there, I would visit all of the relatives. In fact, in Mississippi, we have this one road. Many of you, some of you are my relatives, and you might be aware of this, but down this one particular road where the family lived, everyone on that road was a relative. So what I didn't realize at the time is that I was walking into a legacy that could be left for my generation. And in fact, it was. My grandparents left their real estate holdings, that 40 acres they happened to have. I believe it was 40 acres. I could be off by an acre or two, but they owned this substantial piece of property that they farmed and lived and raised their kids. When before they passed, they put the property in their first grandchildren's names. Now that at the time I didn't realize the significance of that, but that was a foreshadowing of what was to come in my own life. Because as I shared with you, my father left me. Now I'm not the first child of my family. I'm actually the youngest, or the baby, as they like to call me. I'm the youngest in the family. So that example that I saw being modeled by my grandparents was a model that I carry today. Now I own property. My parents own property. My grandparents own property. So I come from a lineage of ownership. Some people don't come from that lineage of ownership, but what does that mean? That means you can start building that legacy for yourself and the generations to come. Now, you may say, I don't have children. I don't plan on having children. Then maybe it's not for you in terms of leaving that family lineage. But if it is for you, then this is the right place for you to be. And if it's not, then you can leave that for whoever you choose. I've heard of people leaving an inheritance for their dog or for a cause that they believe in. I even saw on television that you can leave your in your will, you can put a broadcasting station. I mean, you can pretty much put anything in a will if you want. If you want to leave your valuables to something or someone, that's your choice. But in this cultural legacy building, I want to model for you and show you models of where people such as myself have done that before. And if you come from those roots where your family has traditionally shown you home ownership, home investment, and leaving that legacy for future generations, that's the model that I want you to capture. Now, I want to share with you the offer that I have. Offer that I have is an opportunity for you to go deeper into a workshop. I've had these before, and previous times I've had pretty lengthy workshops and I've condensed them some. So in this particular case, I am hosting two workshops, two 90-minute workshops. It worked pretty well the last time I did the two 90-minute workshops. So you may ask, well, what am I getting in this workshop? Well, the first workshop, we explore ownership and investment. And the second workshop, we explore investment because ownership and investment tend to take at least an hour. So since it's a 90-minute session, I'm running those half an hour for investment, and then the next workshop, I'm running the other half an hour for the investment. And then the second hour in the second workshop, I'll be talking about entities and how you can leave that legacy and that inheritance for future generations. And it's a workshop. So I am providing the tools for you to actually go out and create this legacy, right? You're going to build this legacy plan. It's a blueprint for you. And it's based on what you have in your hands. We talked about what is it that I have? If you haven't done that yet, take the time to write down what it is you have, all of your assets. It's not a secret, right? It's not a secret because our life is limited. We're only on this earth for a limited period of time. And many of us don't know when we're going to leave. I know I don't. I want to live a long life. However, we don't know. What is it the Bible says? Tomorrow's not promised. So we're not promised. So think like this is your last day. If this was your last day, and I've actually gone through and done this exercise with my first workshop, if this was your last day, what would you like to happen with the things that you've acquired? Now, you may have written a will, but you may not have thought enough about what it is that I want to leave for different people. I had a lady who's a relative, she's since passed away. Her name is Yolanda. She was in my first workshop, and she always said she wanted to acquire 17 properties for her 17 grandchildren. And she called me shortly after we did the workshop, and she was so excited. She said, I'm working on this plan. I got my kids involved, and she's working diligently on this plan, and she was so excited. And then she called me a couple of months later, told me she couldn't quite get over this cold. She wasn't feeling too well. And before I knew it, she had passed away. But what I really appreciated about what she shared, and she shared a testimonial in the workshop. So if you go into the workshop, you'll get to see previous workshops that I've held, and you'll get the benefit of hearing some of those testimonials, hearing some of the work, the deep work that we did, and be able to learn from that as well as experience your own opportunity to get deeper into this process. What I really appreciated about that, she called me back, and this is not something that was videotaped, but she just expressed sincerely how much she appreciated what I was doing and told me not to give up. And so it's because of her and because of you that I want to continue to do this. This isn't something that I'm doing out of making money, even though this is a business and it does require income to make it a business. It's not a nonprofit. I'm doing it because I know the value in what I have to share, and what I have to share can help you not make the mistakes that I've made, can help you plan in case, God forbid, you leave sooner than you want. No one wants to leave sooner than they want. So I want you to learn from this and be able to use it for yourself, use it for your family, use it for those generations to come. And so that workshop will start next Friday. So it'll be a Friday evening and a Saturday morning, 2-day workshop, 90 minutes. And I'll put a little bit more details into the Facebook group, but just wanted to express to you my desire to help you create your legacy, right? To build that legacy plan, that blueprint on owning, investing, and leaving an inheritance for your children's children. So I want to take a pause and step back and see if there are any questions. And if there are, Najishta, if you could put it in the chat, or if you have a question, put it in the chat. And if you're watching in the replay, remember hashtag replay, put it in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. There was a question on day 1 from Catherine, and I believe that kind of segues into what I'm talking about. She talked about having a fresh start. Now, if you have had failures, I know I have. If you have had failures and you're thinking, okay, I can't quite get back on track because I've made some mistakes. Maybe you have something in your past that's preventing you, or you feel it's preventing you from getting back into owning, getting back into investing. Maybe there's been a loss of a significant person in your life, a spouse, a child. You can still get back in the game. And it's not a game, but you can get back into owning and investing in real estate. You can get back into crafting a plan to where you protect your assets and you protect your family and you protect those who you love. You have the ability to do that. And I briefly mentioned this on the day 1 was it's all up in here. That mindset. If you believe it's not possible, then you're right. It's not possible. But if you believe that it's possible that you can recover from those past failures, then you can and you will. Coming from someone who has had failure, it is possible. Didn't think it was possible, but it is. It is possible to continue to advance, to expand, to grow, to be mentored, to be coached, and to continue to build out this plan. Because as I mentioned yesterday about those stewards, I believe it's called the parable of the steward. And I probably should have pulled that up on my phone, but parable of the steward, which had to do about the manager who gave 3 servants, if you will, workers, money, denarius is what it was called in the word. I'll just say money. Gave one of them 1 denarii or $1. I don't know what the equivalent is. 1. Gave another one 2 and gave another one 5. Sent them on their way. Based on the parable, they came back. The one that received 5 came back and he actually acquired 5 more. So he invested. He invested. He doubled. He multiplied what he had. He multiplied what he had. So the manager said, hey, that's a good job. If somebody's investing your money and they're growing it and multiplying it, wouldn't you want to reward them? So he rewarded them and rewarded this one and gave him 5 more. Now, the one that had 2, he also did a good job because he doubled, he multiplied as well. And so he gave him more. And then the one that had one said, "Hey, manager, I know you're a tough taskmaster. And so because of that, I took that one that you gave me and I buried it." So he's probably feeling pretty good about that. I buried it. So we're good. So at least I have what you gave me. I didn't squander it. I didn't lose it. I still have it. And so the manager turns and said, you wicked and evil person or servant or whatever you call them. He said, "If you knew I was a harsh taskmaster, then why wouldn't you at least put it in the bank and earn some interest on it?" "Well, because of your foolishness, I'm going to take that one that you have and I'm going to give it to the one who was able to excel and multiply with what I gave him." And so he took it from him. I don't want to be the one that doesn't manage well. And I don't think you want to be the one that doesn't manage well. So whatever it is you have in your hand that's valuable, you can multiply it. You can build on it. You can have a legacy to build upon. You can take the culture that you have. You can take whatever it is you have that maybe it's valuable to you, but it may not be so valuable to others. Make it valuable. Make it valuable, right? If you have the book that you haven't published yet, whatever it is, whatever those assets are, then go ahead and finish them. And then step into this 2-day workshop. Now, if I've been giving you valuable content, then I would hope to see you there. Now we have a few minutes left, and I just want to take this full circle. So today I will be gifting through a prize for those of you who take me up on going live and engaging in the Facebook group. It could be through chat. It could be through going live. I want to see some engagement in the Facebook group. I know you're watching. I know you're listening. Now I want to see the engagement because one of you will win that as a prize. And that prize, again, is worth, if I didn't share the cost, I am doing a fast action bonus. And what that means is if you take action and you say, "I want that," then you get the fast action bonus. But the fast action bonus expires tomorrow at midnight. The cost of the program is $14.95. But for a fast action bonus, you get it for $9.95. And that's only until tomorrow at midnight. Now, with the program, you don't just get those 2 workshops, you get bonuses. I have a 30-day sales challenge that I ran last month. I'm gifting you that to go with the program. So with that 2-day workshop, which is 90 minutes each, you'll get the 30-day sales challenge. And with that sales challenge, it gives you an opportunity to run fast, to annotate all of the money that you are collecting for the month. And it gives you 3 different ways to do that, 3 different measures that you need to put on your calendar each day. And so that is part of what you will receive as a bonus. And that will help you pay for course, pay for the workshop. So that is what I'm gifting you as a bonus. Also, you get to be part of the previous workshops. That's also a bonus. You'll go inside the private Facebook group that has the recordings from the previous workshops. So you'll get all of that. And you'll get to hear some of those testimonials toward the end of the different workshops that I've had. So I'm excited to do this again and share this with you all. And I'm hoping you take me up on it. And those of you who are meeting me in the VIP starting on tomorrow, Friday, I just need to see your message. And today I will give away one of the offers, but it's based on, I won't give it away today. I'll base it on what activities I see today, and I'll announce it tomorrow. But today I'm giving away, I said I was going to give away a prize every day, and I did not give away one yesterday. So yesterday, the most engagement I saw was from Nardishta. She actually went live. She's my moderator. However, she's making waves in the group and she's moderating. So I'm gifting her or giving her the VIP, which starts tomorrow after the challenge. So the VIP starts tomorrow after the challenge. And so she gets that. So each day I'm giving away a prize. We had that's the prize from yesterday. And so for today, someone will win the actual offer, but I need to see engagement. Remember, fast action bonus. That just means if you take advantage of the time and get your yes in right away, then you get a discount. That's a $500 discount. But if you want to wait until Sunday night, the price is different. Sunday night, again, the videos go away Sunday at midnight. All right. So it's been a pleasure being with you. I'm at my 30-minute. And again, I said I was going to do 30 minutes. It's 32. Maybe I'll stop at 33. Anyway, I am so glad to be with you on day 4 of the Cultural Legacy Builder Challenge. 5-day challenge. Tomorrow is day 5, and we'll go a little deeper and I'll expand a little bit more on what I have to share with you coming up in the workshop. And I hope to see you there. All right. Bye.